Let's go into a little more detail about our golf swing, particularly the first part of your swing. The first part of the swing, it's extremely important because if we get the first part of the swing correct, it makes the second half of the swing much, much easier. So what we want in the first part of the swing is to keep the hands fairly passive. We don't want much going on with our hands in the first 3 feet of our swing. We want a one-piece takeaway, basically meaning that we're going to take our shoulders, our arms, the handle, and the club head, and we're going to move everything back together. What we really want to avoid in the first part of our swing, we want to avoid any rolling of the hands, like this in the backswing. What happens when you roll your hands in the backswing, the swing it becomes too flat, and oftentimes you'll make marks off the inside part of the club. The other thing you want to avoid in your backswing is lifting the club straight up. When you lift the club straight up, that's when the club tends to cut across the ball and the club crashes into the ground. It's not smooth. So a very simple drill you could do to help you with your takeaway is if you put the golf club in front of the ball, and then what you want to do is actually roll the ball straight back. You want to avoid rolling the ball over into the corner of the room. You want to avoid lifting the club where the ball wouldn't roll at all. So it's a really simple drill. Putting the club in front of the ball, having the shoulders, arms, and the hands all move together. A checkpoint they could do is using an alignment rod. And you could take that alignment rod and put it somewhere towards the balls of your feet. And if you're swinging back, you want to see that the club in your hand is matching up with the alignment stick on the ground. If you're looking in the mirror, a really good checkpoint is that the club head and the hands are on top of each other. If we're rolling our hands, we'll see that the club head is inside of the hands. Or if we're lifting the club, we'll see that the club head's outside of the hands. But we want the club head and the hands to match up. We also want to make sure that we have a square club face. Sometimes I like to pretend that this club face has eyes. And if we're standing to the ball, in the first part of that swing, we want to make sure that the club head is still looking at the ball as it's going back. We want to see that the leading edge of the club is tilted slightly down towards the ball. We want to avoid any extremes with having the club face open or pointed up to the sky like this, or something closed where the club's kind of pointed down to the ground, it's hooded. So we want to be able to have a very simple takeaway. Everything's moving together. Club and the hands are right on top of each other. That club head's pointed down towards the ball. In the follow-through, we're going to have our arms extended, and in our follow-through, we'll see that this club face is pretty much straight up and down. If the club face is open like this, the ball will be going off to the right. If the club face is like this, where it's hooded, it'll be going off to the left. So then we could start to piece it together, that simple takeaway, not a lot going on with our hands and arms, to our finish. And extra credit if you're able to hold your finish. If you could hold your finish, it's a sign that you're swinging within yourself, that you have good balance, and that you're staying tension-free. Tension kills the golf swing. So you could have these really good fundamentals, but if you're squeezing the club really tight, it's going to be really hard to have good rhythm and have a good swing. So on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 gripping it as tight as you could grip it, 0 it's falling out of your hands. We want to grip it somewhere in the middle, around a 4 or a 5. And so you could work on your takeaway with rolling the ball back, and then I'll have you hit a few shots. Again, the body's facing the target. We're able to see the back of my shoe. And if you could hold the finish, extra credit. So simple one-piece takeaway. We're coming through, and I could even tap my shoe, all my weight's on the front foot. So definitely use those checkpoints for the first part of your swing, and I'm confident that you'll be able to hit some clean shots with it.